This thing is big, durable, and hip as shit. Today we are looking at the Tanner Wilderness Rucksack. Let's get into it. Yeah, let's see what it's like. So first things first, this thing has a huge main compartment, okay? You can fit everything in it. I went to Mexico with this sucker and just had a packing cube or two and threw everything that I needed in just this single bag. It's massive. One thing that's great about this is it's got this roll top thing, so which means it's extensible. It's huge. You can just you can put stuff in it forever. Like, hello in there. For example, you might want to bring with you a little keyboard because you're working on your film score career, and with this bag you can. It fits just fine. So it's got a huge main compartment. And one of the other huge features of this bag is effectively just the stuff that it's made from. This fabric is Tanner's Swiss-inspired World War II sort of fabric thing made from nettle and hemp or something like that. It's meant to be super durable, it's got a cool story behind it, and it's sprayed with their water-resistant stuff, so it's not waterproof, but it'll give you some water resistance. And ultimately, it just feels really good. Like I like to touch it. I'm definitely a touchy-feely kind of guy, you know. You could ask my wife. And this is actually really fun to touch. It's like a nice, solid, dense, durable material. And then, of course, the other big player in this bag is the leather. The leather is sensational. As you can see when we look at the back here, there's this huge back chassis, which I'll show you a little bit more detail, but what I realized is this handle right here, I pick this up all the time, and it's starting to get nice and soft as the leather breaks down just a little bit and gets softer to the touch, and it's starting to feel really good. The leather that they use here is some very high-class leather. I bet you didn't know leather could be classy. Okay, now turning the bag around, we've got this one pocket right here, which is another leather clasp. There's no zippers or anything on this bag anywhere. It's just these things, which I'll show you in a second. And this is just a gusseted pocket that you can throw in a little pen organizer if you want to. It's sort of for knickknacks. The laptop compartment on the inside of the bag. This is the only compartment on the inside of the bag. It is a simple felted wool padding for your laptop sleeve, and then it has a little bit of leather on the top and basically two index card size leather pockets. Now, let's look at the harness and straps on the back of this bag. Now, as you can see from the back of this thing, there's a bunch of leather and metal and brass. It's like a hipster at an S&M convention. As I'm looking at this bag, I'm realizing that all the places where, a bag might fail, where, for example, zippers or where the shoulder straps meet onto the bag, this is just super rugged and really well constructed. So because there's no zippers and because all of this stuff is almost over-engineered, I don't think this thing can break without you taking a hacksaw to it. Now, you can adjust the straps using this belt-like buckle at the bottom of each strap. And what I've noticed about that is that sometimes the bag is a little heavier on one side than the other, and when you're used to, just your regular sort of backpack things where you can just cinch it and go, you're locked in. So if one side's heavier than the other, you're just kind of you just kind of deal with it. You readjust, you do a little shimmy. And finally, on these straps, you have this felt on the inside of the bag, which I've noticed is actually kind of piling a little bit. Definitely see some wear and tear on this bit right here, which I don't see on any other parts of the bag, besides the leather sort of breaking in really nice. And finally, let's talk about these snaps that the bag uses to snap itself closed. Now, when I first got this bag, these little clips or snaps or whatever, they were a pain in the ass. The leather was extremely stiff, and it was almost impossible to get that little snap up in through the hole. I don't want to make any jokes here. I'm trying really hard not to. But as the leather is sort of broken down, it's gotten easier and easier. I found that taking a pen or something like that and actually stretching out the leather has helped a bunch. And now that I've done that and the leather has kind of broken in a little bit, it's a lot easier to use and feels very secure at the same time. One thing's kind of been a bummer on this is like trying to get especially this outside pocket, trying to get this strap in on here. If it's packed tight and you can't get your fingers around into it, that can be really awkward, especially if you might have sunglasses or something delicate in there. You don't want to be pushing super hard on it. So that's one knock against this snap sort of system. But overall, the thing is, the first thing that breaks on bags is the zipper. There's not a zipper on this bag. These things are gonna last a million years. Now, let's talk about what this bag is like actually in use. Like I said, I traveled to Mexico with this thing. I had it loaded down with a bunch of stuff, and I would say it was not uncomfortable, but it also wasn't making anything very easy. It's a simple bag. You know, you just got one huge container, and it's all on these shoulders where you do have a lot of support, for lack of a better term, but it is just on those shoulders. That said, it wasn't that uncomfortable. It just wasn't like one of those bags where you'd have like a hip pack and all that other stuff that would support some of the weight. So because you can fit a lot of crap in it means that it might get some weight into it and be pretty heavy sometimes. Now, let's talk about 3 things that are a little bit of a downside to this bag. First of all, as I mentioned, these back pads are sort of piling. That's the one piece of sort of wear and tear that I've seen that hasn't been actually like a beautiful patina on this bag, where the leather breaks down, the brass gets a little bit worn in, and all of that is a good thing. This, on the other hand, I'm not sure if this is gonna stop or if it's just gonna keep going, getting on my sweaters and things like that. And I like my sweaters. My sweaters are wonderful and beautiful. I don't need any damn felt on them. Now, the second downside of this bag is the fact that there really isn't any organization, and it's actually kind of hard to access this pocket where you're probably gonna have all those things that you need to get access to when the bag is full. So when this main compartment is all filled up, it puts a ton of pressure out here, so it makes it hard actually to get into here. You're reaching for your passport or your glasses or your computer charger or something, and it's just a pain in the ass. You gotta take off the bag, you gotta open this thing up and get in there and move around. It just makes it difficult, right? So if you're into organization, if you need a lot of pockets, you're not gonna love this bag. However, if you're like, screw it, teach me how to live bag, this bag will teach you how to be a more simple person. And then, of course, the other bad thing about this bag is that it is very expensive. You only ever need to buy one because it's got a lifetime warranty on it, limited lifetime warranty. And I think it'll last past your lifetime. I really do think it'll last 70 years, but it's expensive. So here's the gist on this bag. Okay, you get this bag because you fantasize about living on a cabin, but you're really a graphic designer. You get this bag because you want to be a rustic dude, but all you really have is a motorcycle. You get this bag because you want to be reminded that there's more in life to live for than just the latest gadget. And this bag's gonna remind you and put you more closer to a life that looks like all of those things. It wants to be a simple companion for the next 70 years of your life. So if there's something about this bag that's like really like sort of, there's a lot of sex appeal about it to you, I know that feeling. I feel the same way about it. I mean, it feels really like, God, it's really simple, sort of unpractical. Oh God, it's really expensive, but there's something so amazing about it. Damn, what's your name, girl? If you're in that boat, it's like, fuck it, if you can do it, pick it up, get one, because it will change some of how you live, and it's really, really, really nice to touch and hold something and use something on a daily basis that is made by artisans, that's from some of the top materials. It's got a killer story. So all of that, like, you know, X Factor stuff is in this bag. So that is some of the details on the Tanner Goods Wilderness Rucksack. Here is the verdict.